movie's received a lot of critical praise, which, you know, anytime anyone's involved in a film must be really nice. But I would imagine for you, for Rod, feedback you received from not only those who served there, but people in general who served, and Gold Star families, and anyone who has, you know, lost someone who has served in the military. How important was it to get positive feedback from them, and have you found that that's what you've received so far?
Yeah, I mean, almost entirely. I mean, obviously, you know, thousands of people served there, love people who served there, et cetera. So you're never going to get 100%. But it's funny, yes, the reviews have been great, and there's like a really positive Rotten Tomatoes score, which I'm learning for the first time what that is. It's like 93%. It's fresh.
They don't have that. They don't have that for CNN shows, Rotten Tomatoes. Is that not?
No, I'm pretty sure I would be certified fresh, but they don't do it for news shows. But at the 10-year anniversary of the big attack, so last October, General John Allen, who was the commander of U.S. and Allied forces in Afghanistan, who now heads up a think tank, he and Millennium Films, who made the movie, hosted an event in D.C. to show the film, which was not 100% done, but close to it, to veterans and their families and Gold Star families. And we were really nervous, Rod and I, because, you know, I can't imagine serving there. I can't imagine losing a loved one there, much less then going to see your lost loved one portrayed by Orlando Bloom or whoever, Milo Gibson, whatever, and then see their death portrayed on screen. So we were really, really nervous. And it was a very intense experience. We had some grief counselors there just in case anybody needed to talk. There was one soldier that left like in the first 5 minutes just because it was too intense, because it just recreated the experience he had of flying into this camp in the dead of night and then waking up the next day and you see the mountains that you're surrounded by. It was just too much for him. Understandable. You know, I don't think I could watch such a thing. But then after the film, it was nerve-wracking. We went around one by one by one, and to a person, they said that they thought the film honored their loved one, and they felt, you know, as positive as one could feel about such a thing, which has just been great. And, you know, there were a couple liberties that were taken in the film. People who served in 2006 were put with the unit in 2009 so as to tell his story as well, et cetera. But generally speaking, it's pretty factual. And so that was, after that, I was like, okay, anything after this now is gravy, because these are the people I care about the most, what they think.
You know, the book is great, and the film is turned out wonderfully well, too. I want to ask about this before I let you go. You know, we are coming up, you're probably tuned into this, on an election. And let's assume you and your colleagues will be working the election desk on election night. It came up in that interview last night. This is likely, because of the fact that there's going to be more vote by mail, this is likely an election that won't be called in the same way that previous elections have been called. How do you prepare for a night like that? I know it's 90 plus days out, but are you already thinking about that?
Yeah, I am. One of the things to think about is just how many of those House seats we didn't find out about in the 2018 election until a week later. And while it was clear the Democrats were going to take the House, it wasn't clear what the margin was going to be. And a lot of them were on the West Coast, where they have vote by mail, and there was an extensive counting system. And I think one of the things that we need to do in the media, in the news media, is make sure that voters are prepared for what might end up not being a clear winner on election night. Now, on the other hand, there could be one. I mean, if President, sorry about the dogs. This is what.
No, it should be. For our viewers to know, Jake's dog is a huge Donald Trump supporter. Anytime Jake talks about him,
he's yelling. He's barking like it's very rude. Thanks for letting the dogs out. So anyway, they had been told I was doing the show, just so you know.
Sure, of course, yeah.
I assume that you are in the position on the family totem pole where I am, which is not at the top.
No.
In any case,
I assumed I was above dog, but I guess we're finding out.
No one is above dogs. in this house. And anyway, I think people just need to be prepared. I mean, it could be that we know. I mean, if it's a landslide for Biden or for Trump, you know, if all of the battleground states are called, if we know that Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin go one way or the other, that will certainly suggest. I mean, nobody expects Donald Trump to win California, right? Or Joe Biden to win Texas. But that said, people need to just understand that it might take a little while.
Do you think the president comprehends or understands that?
I can't really speak for what the president comprehends or understands. Right now, I'm just focusing my hope and desire that he understands and comprehends what needs to be done to contain this pandemic, because that remains, to me at least, it seems, and every health expert I interview, out of range for him as of now in terms of what needs to be done. So in terms of electoral math, no, I don't think he gets it. No,
I think that's probably a safe bet. Hey, it is always great to talk to you. Hopefully, you know, again, it would be the first time that in the period between your visits, things get better, but I really do hope that is the case. And I look forward to seeing you then, hopefully maybe one more time before the election.
Anytime you want. And although, like I said, as soon as you turn off this button, as soon as your staff clicks the Zoom, something gets set into the universe, and there's bad juju, and something like a comet is about to hit. Something like we already have a plague and unrest and all sorts of other things. So I don't know what could come next.
I think if anything, we should just apologize in advance to everyone before we say goodbye.
Yes, remember the good old days of the plague. That's what we will be saying.
Be well, love to your family. See you next time.
All right, buddy. Love to your family as well.